Welcome to Style to Rise, the podcast where real women share real stories about style, confidence, and everything in between. I'm your host, Jeanine, image consultant, entrepreneur, and your personal cheerleader in confidence and style. So grab your coffee, take a deep breath, and let's get started. Yolande Koupis is a wife, a mom, and an entrepreneur who's walked through both beauty and brokenness and still chose strength every single time. From launching businesses like Perky Jams and Boss Lady to guiding women through their own self-worth journey, Yolande is all about doing the inner work. From living in gratitude to leading in love. Yolande, I remember in Bloemfontein the first month, one of the first things I made my boys do was swimming because we were familiar with swimming. We come from Natal, and the boys used to swim there almost every day, and that was something that we carried on with in Bloemfontein. And I was sitting there in my car, um, sending the boys to the swimming pool, and I think I saw you like 2 or 3 times, and each time I thought, oh my word, this woman looks gorgeous. I was eyeing you up and down, looking at your shoes, looking at your hair. And then the one day, I don't know if you remember, I stopped you and I said, Yolande, or I didn't know your name. I said, listen, I know this is so random, but how do you get your hair so beautiful? And immediately you stopped and you told me about what products to buy, where to buy it, where's the sales, where's the best prices. And you even gave me your number. And immediately I felt comfortable with you. So, yeah, I never told you this. So, thank you for that. And being new in Bloemfontein, obviously you feel a bit out of place and you don't know the people. And, yeah, and immediately you made me feel welcome in Bloom. So thank you.
Jeanine, the feeling is completely mutual. To have had the opportunity to meet you as well, and just to see the person behind your social media presence and the person that we get to see on Transformed by you is just absolutely insane to know that you can link with that person. And for me, the most beautiful thing about Bloemfontein and about people when you meet like-minded people is that you have a sense of belonging. You have a sense of that you are seen, and you also have a sense of connection and collaboration. And for me, that is the most beautiful thing. And I always say, when I die, I want to be seen as a lighthouse. I want to see it. I want to be seen as the person that shines the light upon each other.
And that's exactly who you are, Yolande.
Why do women gatekeep things? Why do they keep it for themselves? For me, it's the most important thing to be able to share it and to shine that light onto other women. And that is my purpose, and that is what I want to portray as a woman going forward as well.
I think a lot of time women are so critical on themselves that they don't have the self-confidence to put themselves out there because they were so scared of, yo, but what is this woman going to think of me? She looks so beautiful and so well put together. Here I am. And we've got so many self or negative talk in our heads. And I never want to, I never want anyone to feel like that around me because
I do it 100%. Most of the women live in this fear that they have to compete, and it's the whole time compete comparison. And they're so scared that if they do share something with you, you might excel above them. And I think that is one of the darkest places that a woman can go to, because we as women have to celebrate and collaborate. Even if you look at your children, even if you look at your daughter, even if you look at your daughter's friends, you want the best for them. You want to educate and guide them to become the best version of themselves. And if you have that and you can give that as a gift, I think that is one of the most beautiful things that you can do.
And I think it's one of the most freeing things you can do. It is so freeing not to compete with anyone, just to be yourself. I know from the beginning on social media, it's so easy to compare your account with someone else's beautiful aesthetic pictures. But then I realized people don't connect with me if I try to be one or something that I'm not.
Definitely.
So,
Yeah, for me, it's about the real and the rawness. And like what you said earlier, the first time you saw me at the gala, and I mean, it is absolutely chaotic. If you see us at the gala, you've got this massive trolley and you've got everything that you have to pack with you. And it's like, oh my word, it's just another day. And you carry everything and your camping chair is full, and it's crazy.
that is crazy.
I remember the day when you came and you sat with us, and I was looking at you as well, and you were this, like in Afrikaans they say, 'n vrou wat jy deur 'n ring kan trek. And that is one of the most beautiful things, that you can sit there and you can look at someone and you can see the beauty in them.
Mm. On that note, I want to share something. Also, one of the first days at the swimming pool, I had my little one, Simon, with me. And the middle one didn't want to swim. Tobias was swimming. The middle one was crying. And Simon was sitting next to me, next to the mothers that I don't know, farting. And then he told me, I'm trying to ignore it and act very nice, or that I don't notice it. And then loudly he says, Mama, right, you stink that.
Look, it's going to embarrass you. The times that
Then I just thought, oh, there's no one that will humble you like your children.
100.
And the mothers were just laughing, and they we connected immediately because of my boy farting. So people want to connect and they want to be real. And yeah, I think that is
Look, to get back on that note, I once saw a woman, she had 5 children, and she was so cool, calm, and collective. And the way she was speaking with them and the way she was handling herself. And I said to her, don't you ever look as crazy? And she said to me, no, never. And I thought to myself, you must be an angel from above. Because no matter how good we are, no matter how kind hearted we are, sometimes the dragon does come out and you just feel completely overwhelmed by the situation. But it's also how you bounce back, don't you think?
definitely how you bounce back. So, a lot of our clients will ask me, where do you get your style from? Somewhere you need to get inspiration from. And I definitely get inspiration. I see myself as someone that can easily see what's going to be trending. And I love getting inspiration from Pinterest. So, I would like to know, where do you get your inspiration from? Was it something that you always had as a little girl growing up? Or, yeah, tell me a little bit more about it.
Oh, my word. Okay. Growing up, I truly believe I was a little tomboy, if you can put it that way. I didn't grow up with my mom, but the time I had with her, she was an exceptionally, exceptionally stylish woman. She was really beautiful. She planned her outfits. You could see she took so much pride in who she was as a woman. But obviously, growing up with my dad, it was ponytail, and there you go. So it was never there.
Yeah.
I think my passion for style developed much later when I discovered my femininity as a woman. And I can't really pinpoint to say to you what is my specific style, because my sister will always say to me, oh my word, one day you a rocket chick and the next day you're wearing a suit. So I am very controversial, if you put it that way. I do not always follow the trends, but I wear what I like and what I feel comfortable in. And what's very important for me is that it doesn't matter what you wear, it's how you wear it and the confidence that you portray. Like today, I'm wearing a very beautiful sheen suit and I love it. And there's so many people that could say, oh my word, you shop from Shein. And I really could not care less. You know, I'm the first one that will share the code with you. But I truly also look at other women and I see how they style themselves and I find inspiration from that. Like you said, Pinterest. For me, it's so amazing if you can say red jacket and they can show you 10 different ways how to style your red jacket and you get inspiration from this.
Yes.
So I think truly, seeing other women and how they style themselves as well and just making my own.
Okay, Yolande, I'm a firm believer of everyone has a story to tell. You are here today because of a story, because of your upbringing, because of choices you made daily. And I am sitting here because of choices I've made in life. And I think a lot of times people can judge a book by its cover, not reading the story. So I would like to know, going back to your childhood as a little girl, what was your story? What is your story?
As a little girl, I didn't always have a soft landing. If you can understand what I'm trying to say there. I come from a broken home. My parents got divorced when I was 3, and I was taken from my mom at a very early age. So that created a lot of, a lot of sense of belonging. I didn't quite understand where I was fitting in.
Yes.
And to grow up with your dad, he wasn't that in touch with the feminine side. So there was so many things that you had to discover on your own.
Mm.
I've got a sister that's 3 years older than me, and I praise her till today that she was the one that shielded me from a lot of hurt and a lot of pain in my life when I was growing up. And even though there was love,
Mm.
it wasn't, like I said, always a soft landing. So for a very long time, I had that feeling of a sense of belonging in my life.
Mm.
I didn't quite understand where I was fitting in. You look at all your friends who's got their mother who's praising them and the father that's present, and
What a normal life.
yes, that's what you think, and I had such a strong sense for that, that I craved to have that as the perfect family.
Yeah.
But now that you getting older and more mature, you see actually that every house is carrying their cross.
Absolutely.
But that molded me into the woman that I am today. It molded me into a stronger individual and to know what is the values that I have to give in my life going forward, and especially with my children. And I'm not saying that we're not making mistakes, but we also, this is also the first time we're doing it, but you can identify the things that was really a very heavy burden for you to carry,
Yes.
and you need to release that in your life.
So, thinking back on your childhood, why do you think you never chose to become a victim of your circumstances? Because a lot of people, there's this story about the alcoholic, and when they've asked him, but why are you an alcoholic? And he said, because my dad was an alcoholic. And then his brother was a very successful man, and they've asked him, why are you so successful? And he said, because my dad was an alcoholic. So both had the same father, but the one chose to be a victim and the other one chose to not be like that. And what in your life do you think happened for you to decide not to be the victim of your circumstances?
I'm on word. I think that it is so easy for people to fall into the victim mentality. And I've passed that through in my life as well. It's so easy to say, but I do certain things because of that, because of the lack, because of the the love that you longed or anything like that. But you know, my mom was an alcoholic. My dad was a workaholic.
Sure.
And I learned from both of them. I excelled my life through the guidance that my father gave me. I excelled in my life because I knew I had responsibilities with my mom. And for me, the most important thing is that we're not a victim. You're also not a survivor. You're a warrior. And if you walk the path with the Lord going forward and with Him steadfast with you, then your light will start shining. And just to get back to the victim mentality is exactly what you said. You are in control of the decision that you make every single day with your life going forward. And you can't blame your upbringing. You can't blame the circumstances you had in the past because you are currently in the present.
Wow.
And you are the person that is steering your path going forward.
Wow. That's so powerful. Yolande, so you also a businesswoman, and tell me a little bit more about your ventures and what made you decide to become a businesswoman. You said your dad was a businessman and a workaholic, so do you think there was some influence from him?
Oh, 100%. My dad. Look, okay, let me tell you this. I, I was a hustler, and I believe that you are born with this kind of ignite feeling inside of you. So I was a hostel child. I used to sell my Barbie clothes for top money. I always had a plan. And in high school, I had a like a cash loan, if you can put it that way. So I did my dad's books. Yes, I did my dad's books. And my pocket money I used to have, I used to borrow out to his workers. And then every fortnight I used to get extra money. But I had him to guide me and to give me that reassurance that whatever I put my mind to, I can achieve. And that was something that stuck with me. But also, I was 16 when I had to financially support my mom.
Sure.
So 16 is quite young.
To have such a big
It is a
responsibility.
big responsibility. So I was so driven that I had to make money that I can look after her. And I wouldn't choose it any other way because if it was not for either of my parents, I believe that I wouldn't have had that drive in me to achieve and to reach for the stars, put it that way. So yeah, I left school. I went to London. I stayed there for 2 years. I worked. I traveled. I had the best time of my life, but I had a responsibility for when I was coming back that I had to study and also look after my mom. And everything I did in my life was every business, every venture, every entity that I pursued was to help other people, to help them feel uplifted and motivated and inspired, and to help them path the way going forward.
And don't you think, listening to your story, don't you think because of money that helped you, help your mother, and help other people, you've got such a positive outlook towards money? Um, I'm listening to your story now. You don't have a negative mindset of scarcity because growing up from 16, money helped you to support your mom. Does it make sense?
It does, but it's also your mentality.
Mm.
And you look at two people that might come from the same upbringing as what we spoke earlier, and one will fall behind because of that, and the other one will excel. But it's also with the people that you surround yourself that will boost you and uplift you. And it's the same. When I started my business, I had all these people saying, "What are you doing? You have to work for someone. You can't. You're gonna fail. You're not gonna make it."
Yes, all the naysayers.
100%. And if I listened to them, where would I have been today? And I totally understand. And I want women to listen to that as well. I hear that not everyone has the same mindset. I know that not everyone is built the same way. But you don't have to be the best at everything.
Yeah.
That's why you surround yourself with people who
believe in you.
yes, and they will speak life into you and who will help you and guide you and
And be honest with you.
100%. I'm not the best at everything I do, but I believe that I can do it. And even though I make mistakes, I learn from my mistakes. So
And
that's important.
and taking action. I remember I had a she's more a friend, but she helped me a lot in my business. And then she said to Jeanine, I just talked about something, and when I saw you all already doing it, taking action, and it's not right, and please just do it over. So I think it's so important to take action, even though it's not perfect yet.
A good friend of mine used to explain it like this. And she used to say, there's so many opportunities in our life that passes us every single day. But you need to decide if you're going to take the opportunity. And I want you to picture it as this big fat sumo wrestler. And he's running with oil all over. And he's wearing his skimpy little underwear. And he's got this only small piece of hair at the front of his head. That is your opportunity. And the opportunities comes every day. But you have to grab that opportunity right at the front before it passes you. Because when it passes you, it is so difficult to grab that oily body from behind. And you should not you got notice, but you know, but the thing is that there's so many things that is here for us, but we are scared.
We are scared and we doubt ourselves.
We've got this negative mind down talk to say you're not good enough, you're not strong enough, you don't have enough money to start it, you don't have time. There's so many things that you can break yourself down to. You just have to take the first step.
And there will always be excuses.
And you're always going to make mistakes.
Absolutely.
And you're always going to fall. But that's how you get up and it's how you go forward and what you learn out of this, the whole situation.
And the irony of it is no one really cares if you make a mistake. It's only your word. Yes, exactly. Yolande, so being a mother is real tough, but it's also something that I won't change or exchange for anything else. And I always thought at the beginning when I got my firstborn, I thought, Mom, why didn't you tell me it is this hectic? And there's so many things that I didn't know. And she said, Jeanine, because you forget it, the better part of having children and being a mom is so much more than the small moments where you lose your shit and when you feel like I can't do this. So tell me, how do you experience motherhood? And yeah, tell me a little bit about being a mom and what does it mean for you?
I think, like you said, being a mom and being able to carry the blessing, that it is the most rewarding, but also the most challenging. And I truly believe that it takes a village and a vineyard to raise your children. But oh my word, I truly can't imagine my life without my children, and they humble me in so many ways. They embarrass me in so many ways, but little but I look at them and there's this sense of extreme overjoy that just exhilarates through my body. Yes, you know, that they are mine. And my dad always used to say that you cannot choose your blood. That is yours. That is something that has been uniquely created by God.
Chosen.
And, you know, for me, we know the anatomy of children, having children and all of that, and it happens on a daily basis. But the moment when you give birth and you are privileged enough to be able to experience that and to be a mom,
There's nothing like it.
there's a complete different feeling that runs through your body. And for me, Skyline was a prem baby, so it's my firstborn. She was born on 33 weeks. And the moment for me was like Lion King. You know, you go through all these emotions and I don't know what to expect, and there's nobody else that's guiding me, and it's just me and my husband, and we like lost. And they lifted her up and showed it to me, and off she went to ICU. And for me, it was so unknown. But to be able to hold that little human in your hands is just, it's a different feeling. And I phoned my sister when I gave birth to my firstborn, and I said I understand now why certain things in our life happened the way it happened. It's making sense to me now. But to get back to being a mom, I think it's completely crazy at the moment. And I love sharing on my content all the, you know, kids that drives you crazy, and us women that's currently going through perimenopause and all of these things, that your hormones and their hormones. But every single day is a learning curve. And I always say to everyone, if I can give you a little bit of advice, don't wish time away because it goes so quickly. And the moment that you've got today is special time. You can't buy time, nor can you turn it back.
Yeah.
And I know, I'll make the same mistake when I was extremely busy in my career, and you're so overworked, not so overstressed, and your child comes and they want attention, and you go like, not now, I can't now. But it will take nothing of you to just put everything down, be present, and just to breathe and just to take that moment in.
Yeah, and they definitely come and teach us much more than we can teach them.
They are
Show you. They are. I've grown so much being a mom, just by learning from them.
Look, I had to change a lot of things because with my dad is very, very specific, and everything must be neat and in its place. And that disappears very quickly when you have children, that definitely. And especially now having a daughter, I go like, are you wearing my shoes? She's fitting into my shoes. It's insane. But yeah, it's amazing.
Yolande, you once we had coffee, you told me about this gesture you do at night with them. Yeah, tell us about that because after that I started doing it with my boys, and they're so excited at night now to do this exercise. So yeah, share it with us.
We've got something called pillow talk. And a pillow talk is a 5-minute ritual that you do with your child. And it's before they go to bed, and you just lie down with them and you open up. And in that moment, it's real talk. So I asked them, how was your day? What was your lowest point? What was your happiest point? What did you learn out of today? And most importantly, something that I learned from an amazing woman called Suzette Smith is, what was your wow moment of the day? What was the thing
That stood out.
that stood out? And that's something that I do myself as well. Every night when I go to bed, I, you know, we are so quick to say that this year was bad, this day was bad. You tend to only focus on all the things that was pulling you down, and we're all guilty of that. But to identify the wow moment of your day, even if it's as simple as someone that was smiling at you next to the traffic light. How quick it is, if how your mood just changes, even if you're driving and you're overworked or overstressed and there's so many things happening and you just feel like bursting up crying. And when you look to your left or your right and you see this person laughing and dancing to the music, and it brings a smile to your face, that is an exhilarating feeling that goes through your body.
Yes, and I think telling your or asking your children at night what was your wow moment, you intentionally put a seed in their heads so that they go and look for everything that's beautiful in the day. So it's like they always tell the story. It's like when you want to buy a red car, all of a sudden you just see red cars. So now with your children, they look for all the wow and all the nice moments in their day. And the same with you. If you go out intentionally to look at all the wow moments, you see, oh my word, there's so many wow moments in a day. So I think it's a beautiful thing to do with your children at night.
That's very true. If you focus more on the positive, then you will also attract more positive.
That's right. Absolutely.
I always say to my children, if you can choose anything, choose to be kind. Kindness doesn't cost anything. And to have respect. I see a lot of the children grow up a lot different than what we did. But to have respect, and to have respect to your elders and to the people around you, and to spread kindness, is
One of the most beautiful things.
one of the most real things, but it's also free. And it doesn't cost anything to do that. And, I've got a friend of mine that always say, why are you so friendly to everyone? Why can you always speak to everyone? And that's just me. That's my personality. And, I feel that if you a butterfly and you can show that beauty and you it's not what you give someone, it's how you make them feel. And that is one of the most important things for me. When you walk out of a room to say,
Yes.
I felt
Good.
love, I felt seen, I felt appreciated. Because
Yes.
that's something that I was struggling with a lot in my childhood, even in a very big part of my adulthood, that I had that extremely, extremely longing to be seen, to be recognized, to feel worthy, to feel in place.
And now you can give that to anyone you get or you encounter with. Yes, that's beautiful. Yolande, it was such a big pleasure to have you here today. One of my first guests, and just listening to you, I feel like I want to go out and go for a run, and I feel so energized. And I love being around people like you. So thank you for bringing that energy to my podcast. Please share something with the women listening today. Maybe she's going through something. Maybe she feels like she's not worthy or good enough, or whatever the case might be. What is it that you want to tell her today?
Jeanine, firstly, I just want to say thank you for opening up this platform. I truly believe that we need more women like you in our lives that empower, inspire, uplift, and encourage people just to be the better version of themselves. So for me, the most important thing that I want to, just put out there today, and it might touch one person's heart or change another person's life, is that you are worthy. You are exactly where you are supposed to be. You are fearfully and wonderfully made. And no matter how many mistakes you make in your life, that is in your past. And today is the present. It's a new opportunity, and tomorrow is a gift. So live your life to the fullest and just be yourself. Stop competing and comparing yourself to the world around you, and start focusing on celebrating and collaborating the beauty of who you are. And I always say it's the beauty in the eye of the beholder. God has created all of us with his own paintbrush. And you have to see and feel that worth in your side and speak gratitude over your life and people's lives around you.
Wow. Thank you. Thanks for joining me today on Style to Rise. If you enjoyed this conversation, share it with a friend who could use a little inspiration and style in her life. And remember, confidence isn't about having it all together, it's about showing up exactly as you are and owning it. Until next time, keep styling, keep rising, and keep showing up.